This is a follow-up to the sword print I did another video about, and this one's really going to talk a little bit about how I reinforce the dovetails. The first one was about how to use a dovetail for this, and you might not want to use a dovetail. You might just want a straight cut so that, you know what, so it's this sword, which never looks like that when you print it, and the files for this. Basically, there's a bunch of these files, these blades that need to be attached together, and they were done with a, can I show it here, a small nut. Basically, it was a butt joint, and you put this little hex nut in there and you glue it for alignment. But I actually wanted this to be for stability. So instead I decided to use, what do you call it? I decided to use a dovetail joint instead, and that's these guys here. So you can see the dovetail joint here. And what happened was these dovetails turned out to be super weak. You saw it in another video. So these are the pictures I showed in a previous video. You can see how thin the dovetails are here. I had done a 15% infill with no additional reinforcing, and that did not come out very well. Even this one that looked pretty stable, really, it turns out, wasn't that stable. There wasn't a lot to it, and that's, like I said, this is 15% infill. It seems like a lot less than 15%, but what do I know? So the problem, I still wanted to use a dovetail, and basically the idea was to make these solid fill here and solid fill here, and then down inside solid fill for a certain distance, so we would end up with a stronger joint. The way to do that is actually you can add a range so in this case, this one only has a dovetail at the bottom. What I decided to do was just strengthen it up a little bit into this dovetail and make it solid. Man, that probably wasn't enough now that I'm looking at it. But anyway, so I said I wanted 15 millimeters of solid. So basically, when you look at one of these, you can do right mouse, add modifier, and you can, height range modifier is the one I did. So you can add a height range modifier, and then you can add an infill on that. So in this case, we have a height range modifier, and you can see here, I could have added an infill. So height range modifier, 0 to 15. It turns out if I want to edit this, I can actually add additional modifiers. So here you can see my original modifier, right? So it's a little weird. You go down in here, you can have multiple range modifiers. Each one you can change. I should have made this one bigger. Dog it. Anyway, and it turns out if you want to add another range modifier, like in a different location, you can do that. Hit this plus sign. Now you get another modifier, and this modifier we could also set the infill. And in this case, I'm going to set it to be 100%. And we can't use gyroid for that, so it made it rectilinear. And so now I've got an infill from 0 to 15 and 15 to 10, and if I want to see where it ends up, right, 15 to 17. So that's it, right? That's all you need to do. And you know what, let me, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to slice this, show you how it works. So it's sliced. So you can see here, let me just pick one of these. Nope, that won't work. Oh, he did it wrong again. So let me reslice that. Nope. So what I want to do here real quick is just show you, so you can see the parts, they're solid. Let me turn this so you can see it even more. They're solid as we get down, and then you can see, so these two are two different height a little bit, but you can see these two, they're solid down into the unit and then down to a certain distance, and then I did like a 60% infill on these to give them more support. So that was the whole idea here, right, was to make sure that this joint right here was solid to the box and that we had some top on it. So I probably could have made these even taller. Maybe I will in the print, in the next print. But that made it super. So what does that look like? You know what? It looks like this. I don't know if I can't see myself. But basically, and now I ended up with this, right? You can see that joint. And then we can take all these together. These actually should be super glued, but you get the idea, right? And that's the blade now put together with Now, it doesn't look crazy awesome with the joints, but I think that's not a big deal. We'll just glue it and we'll have something that'll hold up for a while. So that's the fix for this. And I'll link the other presentation to that also. And now I just need to figure out how to turn the camera off.